Alright, so what's up guys? How are you doing? Welcome back to Gaming Tier List. Alright, so today we're breaking down all the abilities in Marathon and ranking every runner kit based on how strong they look for solo play and for team play. Because Marathon is an extraction shooter, some mechanics naturally become more valuable than others. Things like gathering information, survivability, mobility, and revive tends to dominate the meta in the games. So we rank these abilities. We're looking at three main factors: how well they perform in fights, how useful they are for a squad, and how strong they are when you're actually playing solo, which we're not gonna prioritize because we all know what you'll be playing it solo. Assassin. But Assassin is real good. Let's get to it. So first up, we're gonna start with S tier and go down to C tier. So S tier, we're gonna start with Recon, the Recon runner. This class might have been the most important in the entire game because of information. Information always wins fights. Every game, every extraction shooter, it's all about information. It wins the fights. The prime ability is Echo Pulse, releasing the sonar pulse that reveals nearby enemies. That means that your team can constantly know where every enemy is and where they are coming from, and probably even hold down choke points and whatever, and which means it's incredibly valuable when you're setting up an ambush or just not pushing because you're sensing the danger and seeing that there is an ambush waiting for you. Recon also gets the tracker drone, which is a mini spider bot that hunts enemies and it actually explodes. Not just explodes and does damage, but it actually overheat anyone caught in the blast. So you're not just gathering intel, you're actively disrupting the enemy during combat, which is incredibly useful. The interrogation trait is another big one. If you finish an enemy, the entire squad actually gets pinged, so everyone is gonna know where everyone is at, especially if they're like flanking and other stuff like that. And it's very valuable when you actually the last one remaining and you gotta pick up your rest of your squad and they're just waiting for you to try to pick them up. It is super valuable, super valuable. For solo, it's a little bit different. Then there's the stalker protocol. When you break someone's shield, they leave a lingering like holographic trail, making it extremely difficult for them to escape. So that's pretty good. So you're basically a tracker. So for solo play, this means you can avoid bad fights and track enemies down when needed. In team play, Recon is essentially the radar, the squad radar. Um, Imagine Iran and America, and America just has all the radar knowing everywhere. Iran has all this stuff laid out. It's basically like that. Just target it, and that's S tier for you. Next up with the S tier is obviously your boy Triage. This class is pure support, and support roles are extremely important when it comes to squad play in extraction games. Its prime ability is Reboot Plus. Also, you can use it to revive your teammates, almost like a defibrillator. Instead of exposing yourself to danger, you can literally just charge it up and lock on and just revive them from a distance. It can also EMP enemies if used properly. You can EMP enemies and you can probably maybe even one shot them. It's almost like a battlefield defibrillator. So it's defensive and still offensive at the same time. The med drone attaches to teammates, restores little health or shields over time, while preventing down players from bleeding out, especially when you go into those toxin plants and stuff. Pretty good to send for your teammates, have it on you. Gives you a little bit of HP at a time, so as you're losing, you're gradually building up that HP also. Shareware EXE is where things get really interesting. When the med drone is active, healing benefits from its consumable gets shared with the team. So whenever you like use anything, they get a little bit of it also. That a little bit of kickback. They get a little bit of kickback then. And finally, battery overcharge boosts. weapon performance at the cost of regenerating more heat. So heat is kind of like your stamina mixed with, I guess, everything you kind of do. Builds heat. And breaking an enemy shield with a volt weapon while this is active also EMPs them. So that's pretty cool. So for solo players, it's still useful because in situations you sustain, but I think in squads is where it's gonna be the most value. Triage is gonna shine in squads mainly. I don't think he's really valuable in solo as much. And that's pretty much another S tier for you. Now moving to A tier, we're gonna. I love playing assassin. I've been playing a lot of the runners, but at the end of the day, I just love playing assassin, and I'm not gonna be biased about it. That's why I haven't put him S tier, because I really would want to put him S tier because I love to play solo. I love to play him just being invisible, sneaky takedowns, and all these things are just incredible. You can make him super strong, and just when you're looting, you turn invisible. It's crazy. It's crazy. This class is focused on stealth and ambush gameplay. So ratting, that's the type of thing. So the smoke ability, you throw you throw a disc, and it makes like a line of smoke. It disrupts the enemies like optics and whatnot. And sometimes you can use it as just like a fake. Throw it a different way so they think like you're actually running, because it's like it leaves like a trail. Kind of like in Delta Force, there's I think it's Dire Wolf or whatever his name is. I think he does that also, and you can jump from a height and activate it. Also there's the active camo, which is the best part about it. I would say it doesn't last as long as you being in the smoke, but the smoke lasts a decent amount of time. It's probably a few times more than the ability to turn invisible, and it's pretty cool. I must say it's pretty cool. You can wait to ambush people, and it's basically built around ambushing. And in solo play, he's super strong. If you guys you play against him in solo, you would know you have to be extra careful when you're moving. Sometimes if you hear something, just wait a little bit, because although the ability is strong, it doesn't last that long. So at least, but Recon would be crazy against him. So because a lot of people are running assassin in solo, then they're losing against assassins. But destroy Recon would be like destroying these guys. So it's excellent for flanking, escaping fights, especially when the AI has its mark on you. Easy for setting up ambushes. Probably get a lot of value from it just playing solo rather than in squads. He's almost useless in squads, to be honest. He has no team play value, I would say, or I would say not too much team play value. Next up, you have Destroy. This is basically a combat class. The prime ability activates shoulder mount missile launcher pods called Search and Destroy. When you deal sustained damage, the missiles launch and kind of like home on your target. So as you're shooting them, they deal extra damage, which is pretty cool. That ability alone can be terrifying during a fight. Trust me, that alone can be terrifying during a fight. But it's still A tier. It's still A tier. One of his nice abilities is actually the Riot Barricade, which lasts like 12 seconds. It is very good for pushing up on the enemy while your team is like behind you, behind the shield. Pretty good for when you're battling the AI, also the USEC. Pretty good at that. But I find that in solos, I find myself putting it up and just ultimately dying, because sometimes it doesn't want to go down and you gotta wait until it deactivates by itself. So it's good, but sometimes it just seems like it's more for team play than anything else. But it takes a few damages, it takes a lot of damage, and can really be useful in team fights. The thrusters boost you up so you can get to higher ground, maybe jump, trying to escape from engagements, because I think if you're playing against people on console, sometimes it's harder for them to aim up. I think on mouse too, it's sometimes harder to aim up than just shoot someone. So jumping around annoys people a lot. And then you have the tactical stream tactical sprint. Allows you to like double tap and then you move faster, but you generate more heat, so it's like your stamina goes down a lot more faster. I think it's even double. So though you can get to escape and run away, it's still, there is still like this time when you're like, oh my god, I'm exhausted. You know, because you have exhausted your stamina or your heat, as they say. And that's that's A tier. Destroyer A tier. Next up we have B tier, and that's Vandal. And this class focuses mainly on mobility and just aggressive movement. I would say she's pretty good for like just running up and just doing work, to be honest. Just running up and just doing work. Amplify overcharges your movements systems, increasing speed and weapon dexterity while reducing heat from movement abilities. The disruptor cannon transforms your arm into this like high-powered cannon that deals damage and pushes enemy away. So you can actually throw someone out from the top by just shooting them. Knockback, which is pretty fun. I think people are enjoying Jetpack Cat in Overwatch, and the guys like Doomfist. You're enjoying that kind of, it's so good. It's so good when you have that type of AoE damage and just fly people over. But the thing is, fall damage is not like crazy, so you won't like get a ton of kills by just doing it. The person has to be real high. Next up you have the microjets. The microjet jet allows you for a second jump in the mid-air, so you can do like a double jump and power slide. It's pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty cool. The kit makes you extremely hard to catch, so you can be running all around, and it's basically a mobility runner. Vandal is a mobility runner. That's basically all I gotta say. Don't gotta tongue twist myself. Basically, a mobility runner. Yeah. Next up we have Thief, and Thief is basically focused on just stealing loot, trying to get the best loot and getting out. Pretty much like the Burnt Peanut, just a loot goblin. Thief is basically a loot goblin. Nothing really when it comes to team play, other than the fact that well, the drone, you can do a little bit of distraction with it, so you can pilot this drone and it can actually whip out whip the enemy, and like the highest value loot actually drop out, and it actually can get it and bring it to you, which is real cool to be honest. If you're a loot goblin, it's real cool. You can actually the X-ray visor, you can see containers and see what color they have inside of them, so the highest rarity inside of it, you can see it through the walls. So you're going all around just looking at different boxes, and you're just looking at where the best loot is. One thing Thief is actually good for is when you have a key and you want to make sure it's worth using. I think she's the best for that, because you just know exactly if to use your key or not use your key. Like in Delta Force, we have to be trying to look through walls and all this thing, little cuts in the wall and all, to see in case there's something on the counter. But with Thief, you can just see if there's actually purple, if there's a card, if there's anything inside there, gold, you can see it and be like, okay, I'm not wasting my key card, which is actually pretty nice. I must say it's pretty nice. I think that she is going to be pretty much used just for these types of playstyle. She also have this grapple that you can use to get to higher places. It's kind of like a grapple with a motor at the end of it, so you're kind of like flying yourself to higher locations, which is pretty cool for escaping and just getting the higher ground and whatnot. She also has, I think, a perk, a passive, and whenever she has more loot, some of her abilities gets better or something around these things. I can't remember what exactly it was, but I think having more loot, being a goblin, helps a lot. Lastly, we have Rook. Obviously, Rook is pretty nice when you're like on that solo to hero kind of vibes. It's pretty fun. I must say, Rook is pretty fun for that because you feel like you're the underdog, and then you just come out and you can wipe out squads and stuff. So it's basically essentially a scavenger class, but it does have some unique rules compared to the other runners. When you're using a Rook, you're forced into a solo queue, but you matched against squads, and you can't bring any gear in. Wait, you can't bring any gear in yet. So instead, the Rook plays matches that are in progress already. So like about 15 minutes. It's like Arc Raiders when you join late. Everybody already took everything, but just imagine you're like a Rook. Maybe that's how they should have used the free kit, when you only free kits could have ended up in the matches that time. But yeah, so you often spawn when everything is almost looted already. People has almost fight all the fights already. Most of the time you're just gonna get some gear that is left behind defeated players. Rook ability is built around just survivability and avoiding AI enemies, which is somewhere on par with Assassin, to be honest, but he can actually just be among them, which is real cool, because you might take the Rook for AI bot and just be like, okay, I'm forgetting about him, but he's actually here to kill you. So his prime ability is Repercussion, and it slowly restores some health over time. Not much, it's just a little bit of health over time, so it's nothing to get like happy about. Like you're always gonna be like at max health if you take damage, but you're gonna have to stay away from taking damage when you actually have it activated. As soon as you get damaged, it stops and you gotta wait till it resets again. And then you have Signal Mask, which is a tactical ability where you disguise yourself for a couple of seconds, maybe around 30 or 40 seconds, I can't remember how much it is, as a UE sec AI force, making it like ignore you. But sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does work, and I'm not too sure in case you can really stay among it for too long, but I see sometimes it actually sees you. So I'm not too sure why, but sometimes before your ability is over, it sees you somehow. So you can go on ongoing matches. The next thing is that you can't really complete a ton of mission contracts. You cannot progress main faction contracts, which is kind of crazy, but that's just how it is. I think the best thing about Rook is that you can get some crazy upgrades for him, and then you can actually jump into matches with gear. So you can jump into matches with like a shotgun, equipped with a shotgun, which is crazy. That's actually crazy. Yeah, so you can spawn in with shotguns and a couple of nice weapons that you can actually jump in with. And yeah, that's basically it for the tier list. Don't want to keep you guys, don't forget to drop a like and comment what you think, if you think the tier list was good. Basically my opinion, but maybe other people might have an opinion. Drop your tier list below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.